I can identify the slope, y-intercept, and independent and dependent variables of a linear equation. The vocabulary y equals mx plus b. The slope, m, is your rate of change. Your slope will always be a number. There will never be a letter or a variable with it. Y-intercept, b, the point where the linear function intersects the y-axis. That will also always be a number. It will never have a variable or a letter with it. Independent variable is the input, x, the variable that is manipulated or the variable that I can change. The dependent variable, the output, y, that's the variable that is measured. Now we're going to look at this graph and we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept. Start at the origin and count. 1, 2. So that's -2 is my y-intercept. And to find my slope, find a point that's right at the corner, and then find the next point that's right at a corner and count. Down 1 means -1 over 1, 2. So the slope of this graph is -1 over 2, and the y-intercept is -2. Okay, let's look at this next one. The table below shows the coordinates of a line or the coordinates of a linear function. The question asks, what are the slope and the y-intercept? When you're given a table of points, it is best to graph them to be able to find the slope and y-intercept. The first point is -3 and +2. The next point is -2, 0. The next point is -1, -2. The next point is 0, -4. And the last point is 1, -6. Okay? So the first thing I see is that my y-intercept is at -4. So it's got to be either this answer or this one. The other two won't work. Now I need to look at my slopes. Both of the slopes and the answers are negative, so I'm going to have to count them. Let's start at let's start at this one right here. Okay? So we're going to go down 2, which means -2 over 1. And if you want to, you can put that in your calculator. -2 divided by 1 is -2. So B has to be your answer because it has a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -4. Next, we're going to say, what is the slope of the function graphed below? Well, I'm going to try to go ahead and start at the y-intercept. It's right on a corner there. And then I'm going to follow the line down till I see another corner. Now let's count. If we're going down, it's negative. If we go up, it's positive. But it's either up and right or down and right. So down -1, -2, -3 over 1. And if we put that in the calculator, that gives us a -3 slope. In this problem, the cost, C, for a bag of candy depends on the weight, W, in ounces. Carrington's Candy Shop uses the equation C equals 0.25W plus 3 to determine the cost of each bag of candy. Looking at this equation, what is the independent variable? Well, the independent variable is the one that has the x by it. So let's go ahead and choose the W, and we'll drag it up here to where the independent variable is. Now, the variable that's outside by itself is always the dependent variable, which is C. Now let's look down there at the bottom of the other choices. The equal sign is an operator. That will never be a variable. Variables are always letters. The 0.25 is the slope because it's right in front of the W, the independent variable, and the 3 is the y-intercept. Next, let's read this. The graph below shows the cost of renting a TV at a rent-a-center. Identify the independent and dependent variables. Just like the problem that we just did, our x value was independent and our y value was dependent. So the independent variable must be the number of days, and the y must be the total cost of renting a TV. Okay, because the dependent variable is the y-axis and the independent variable is the x-axis.